But now please welcome to the Imus Morning Program, one of the more popular radio talk show hosts in the country. Fills in for O'Reilly every Friday, I believe, and other times as well. Our old friend Laura Ingraham. Good morning, Miss Ingraham.
Hey, Imus, did you hear that they're renaming the Parker Spitzer show already?
No, what is it?
Yeah, well, they think they should just shorten it up a little bit. You know, it's just a little long-winded. So they're just going to call it P.S. Your show is unwatchable. What a disaster. Can you imagine if someone calls you up and says, hey, Imus, I really like you to do a show with Elliot Spitzer. Okay, do I wear my socks or not to the set? I mean, that is a train wreck. And I love how she mentions, she has every misstep. There's so many awkward moments in that show. There are too many to count. You mentioned that when she said the first night, well, what's your guilty pleasure?
Okay.
Then the next night she mentions Bill Clinton and giving it depends on what the meaning of the words. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And I'm thinking, do you know who you're sitting next to, Kathleen? Or I guess I don't have a Pulitzer, so I wouldn't know that.
It's so uncomfortable.
No.
My wife says to me, why do you say yes to that?
I would rather be infested by bed bugs than actually watch another episode of that show. Have them bite me all over. It's painful.
So this woman up in Delaware, Kathleen O'Donnell, I know you saw her.
Christine
O'Donnell.
The O'Donnell sisters, Kathleen and Christine, yeah.
Well, I will not be armed with the facts, as you well know, when I ask questions of my guess, which is why
if you throw down the cancer card within the first 2 minutes of this interview, I'm just gonna.
No, I'm gonna
throw mine down. I'm throwing my cancer card.
I have no formal education, which you do, by the way.
Please.
But anyway, I know you saw the ad. I am not a witch. Tell me what you think about it.
Well, first of all, she has to pick up the pace a little bit. It was the slowest. It was the slowest read. That was actually my main complaint. I didn't think it was bad. All these people are like, oh, it's a terrible ad. It's people who don't get outside their little, their Upper West Side, comfortable apartments. No, not you, Imus, but people don't get outside the bubble. She ends the ad by saying, "I'm you." Yeah. And I'm telling you, a lot of women who are struggling out there, who are maybe they couldn't pay their rent 1 or 2 months, maybe they made some mistakes in their life. They're looking at Christine O'Donnell and say, hey, compared to that guy Chris Coons, who jokes around about being a Marxist and wants to cripple our economy with cap and trade and probably will vote with Obama and Pelosi 98% of the time, she's a lot more like me than they are. So I didn't think the ad was all that bad, and I think the fact that she's only 9 points down, considering she's been hammered by every elite journalist in the United States, I don't think that's all that bad. I know that's kind of unconventional wisdom, but I don't think it's all that bad. I
liked her. I thought the ad was genius. I really did. Considering, because my wife looked at me like I was crazy and others, Lise Wheel, and others, but I just thought, given the circumstance she found herself in, I thought that was a Roger Ailes-like genius. Carl Rove, the other guy, Ed Rollin, a genius response. I just thought it was great. So
yeah, and it was kind of calm. Again, mine is like a stylistic thing. I would have spoken a little bit more conversationally. But look, she's new to this, and
looked like she was on Charlie Rose's set, but
yeah, a little bit. Like, she might not have worn black, and when she's saying "I'm not a witch," that might have been a good thing. But again, people who are ripping her apart and tearing her down, I don't think they get where the country's going here. I mean, there's a real sense that we need to restore and renew America. And all these old political hacks need to be washed out of the equation. And if someone's new and they have some maybe new ideas, maybe a bit of a different approach, they're going to get a second, third, and fourth look, and maybe they even will get elected. So I don't think a lot of those people get what's going on out there.
I would like to point out she has insane views, in my view, but I'd still vote for her.
What insane views does she have? Don't go back to Bill Maher stuff. Don't go back to Bill Maher stuff.
I'm not.
There's stuff from today.
Oh, the masturbation deal concerns me. So,
it's 6:30 in the morning. Can we move on to another topic?
What? Charles and I? What?
Charles and I? Okay. No, but I mean the things.
I would rather watch Parker Spitzer reruns on my DVR than talk about masturbation.
I'm talking with Laura Ingraham here.
Okay, my father's watching. My 85-year-old father in Connecticut. Give me a break. My God, my phone's already ringing here.
18 till they are. We're talking with Laura Ingraham.
Oh my God.
Where are you Where are you from in Connecticut?
I'm from Glastonbury, Connecticut, right outside of Hartford. My dad worked for Pratt & Whitney, the big defense contractor. My mom was a waitress there.
So O'Reilly's going to be on with me Friday.
Woo! Is that going to be fun?
Don't you think it's good or no?
Oh, yeah, that's going to be great. I was just on with him in New York yesterday. I was going to stumble up to your studio, but I couldn't get security to clear me.
He was mad at me for some reason, but now he's not, and so that's good because Charles and I have known him
forever, since Hartford,
since way before he was Bill O'Reilly, by the way. So we're jacked up about that. Yeah,
well. The only thing that he's imposing, right? When you're with O'Reilly, he's like, I like being in Washington because then I'm on the set. He's just very imposing. I'm kind of a shrinking violet, so.
You are.
I can barely handle it.
President's poll numbers are down. Now we have this information that they withheld information about the oil spill. What do you make of all that?
Can you imagine? Oh, yeah. Can you imagine if the Bush administration, had withheld major environmental data that affects an entire region of the United States, whose economy has been crippled, way of life inexorably altered, and with their ties to the oil industry, what do you think the media would have done? I hope the reaction is not one big collective yawn coming from Christiane Amanpour and the entire crowd. Well, dear Imus, do you know that this is Islamophobia in America, and Congress is not doing anything about it. Who believes that a show on Sunday mornings hosted by a woman who's obsessed with Islamophobia is going to work in the United States? I mean, who are the Tea Parties?
What are you on the radio?
Are they real people? Do they actually speak English?
What time are you on the radio? I forget.
I'm on the radio at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, man, you are great.
9 to noon, baby. Getting it done every day for the American people. By the way, have you ever heard Janet Napolitano interviewed about the border?
No.
Well, when she's interviewed about the border, she usually says this, Imus. She usually says, it depends what you mean by border security. I mean, this idea that we can lock down the border, that's just fanciful, all right? And then it's really weird when you hear her interviewed, you hear this loud motorcycle in the background. I don't get that. I actually kind of like her. She's actually more, she's endearing compared to a lot of the other people in the administration. So, look, I'm the most flawed person out there. I can't criticize anyone.
Yeah, but, man, you're getting it done. Thank you. That was great.
All right, thanks a lot, Imus.
Laura Ingraham, here on the Imus in the Morning program.